What's up, Music Fest fam? Today we're going to be going over my review of Electric Forest 2025. Thanks for joining us. So before we talk about Forest, we got to talk a little bit about how the magic of the Forest actually got me there, because I wasn't even planning on going to Electric Forest this year. I was planning on hanging out with these guys most of the summer, but after Bonnaroo came and went real quick, I had a little bit of extra energy that I needed to put into something. I didn't have the money for Electric Forest, so I actually reached out to someone I saw on Facebook who was a food vendor. He needed some help kind of slinging sandwiches, making smoothies. I had come to terms with doing this. I reached out to the guy. I said, hey, I have experience in the food industry. I'm a people's person. I love just helping people out and doing what I got to do. And if I could be at a festival at the same time, what better way to enjoy your time? So I was all for going and slinging sandwiches, but then by the grace of God, I was fortunate enough to have been on Facebook one night, and I was looking through a lot of the posts, and I noticed people were giving away tickets to Forest. So the first person I saw was this young girl who was giving away a ticket, but it ended up having to be someone who was in Michigan because she was already there. She was going into Forest on Tuesday or Wednesday, and so she needed to meet up and exchange the wristband. So obviously I couldn't get that one because it was already Tuesday and I was still in Florida. So I just kept watching the Facebook page, and I happened to notice someone named Jeff posted that he had 2 wristbands he was going to be giving away to some people that commented on his post. So I went, I wrote this huge spiel of how I'm a teacher, I have a YouTube channel, and I would like to bring the Forest to the people and kind of show everybody what Electric Forest is all about. And guess what, guys? I fucking got the wristband. He reached out to me later that night. It was probably like 10 p.m. I saw a message request on Facebook, so I clicked accept. I started a conversation with him, immediately knowing that this was the universe manifesting me a free wristband for Electric Forest 2025, and all I had to do was go pick it up. So I found some friends who wanted to make the drive with me, some other friends from Bonnaroo who were upset that their fun was cut short, and we left about 6 hours after my friends had messaged me, and we were on the road to Electric Forest. So the point of me telling you all this, guys, is that contrast. I didn't really want to sling sandwiches, and I didn't really want to make smoothies, but because I kind of relaxed into the contrast, I said, whatever, at least I'm going to Electric Forest. Even though you might not have the funds, Forest really does provide, and you might not have been planning to go. If you're meant to be there, you'll find a way to get there. So that's kind of how I'm going to start this whole video off, but now let's get into the actual Electric Forest, because Electric Forest was just as amazing as my manifestation of the wristband. As soon as I got there, I dropped my friends off at RV camping, and I didn't have an RV wristband, I didn't have an RV parking pass, so I couldn't park with my friends. They kind of said, hey, okay, you got to go. And I kept driving. I wasn't anywhere near GA because I went in through the other toll booth. But that's actually a really good thing because there was no one really around to tell me where to go. I basically just snuck my way into a vendor / group camping because it seemed like there weren't really assigned spots where I went. It was kind of just everybody doing their own thing. And while it was technically part of group camping, it definitely wasn't group camping because there was no one else near me that was part of a group. It was people that were vendors. It was people that seemed like they got there kind of like on Saturday and last second that were just kind of put there. But I really lucked out because I was only about a block and a half away from the main street where the main vendors are. And my walk was much shorter than the RVs. It was much shorter than most of group camping. It was much shorter than pretty much all of GA. And I definitely wasn't out in Blueberry. So far, Forest 2025 was a 10 out of 10. I was just high off life. There was not a thing in the world that could bother me, even though it was a 26-hour drive and it took a long time. I was just so happy to get there and to actually be at Forest that as soon as I woke up Thursday morning, I was out walking around, getting footage, enjoying everything that the Forest had to offer from literally the first minute I woke up. So obviously Thursday is when the music started. I was super excited to go into the actual Forest and start exploring. I started the scavenger hunt as soon as I got there because I know from past experiences that some of the areas, some of the puzzles can get really crowded. So you go try and knock some of those out early. I just wanted to explore the forest, really see what was new this year. There wasn't too many new things. It was pretty much the same layout. They had the same stages. Obviously, a lot of the art installations are updated and a lot of the vendors are new. But in general, the forest did have the same vibes as 2023 and 2024. That being said, they did a really good job this year on the lineup. I know everybody complained about the lineup, but I think the lineup was really good because when you don't have so many of those big headliners like Subtronics, you don't really have the overcrowding that you have to deal with. And I personally, I love being able to dance. I love being able to have some space to do my flow start, just to be me, basically. And when I'm packed together like a sardine, it's not really that fun for me. So I think the lineup was perfect this year. Some of the notable artists was that B3B, Levity, Crank That, and Taint B. Holy shit. I hope you guys saw that set. That set was out of this world, amazing. Zed's Dead killed it. Dimension obviously killed it. Disclosure, I only caught the last 20 minutes of his set, but I feel like I caught the best 20 minutes of it, so absolutely amazing. All around, like I said, the lineup, I think it was really good this year. I think there was a lot of drum and bass, there was a lot of bass, there was a lot of house. I mean, I'm not really that into house anymore, but Clooney was awesome. Fisher, I saw Fisher as well. It was a pretty good time, guys. And if I was to make any changes to the lineup in 2026, I would just add some more wonky bass, maybe some Alley Cat, maybe some Cannibalists. And I don't know, I always like rhythm, but not everybody's into the rhythm. And the last thing I want to say about the music and the stages is just how amazing Electric Forest is at curating their schedule, because there's really not a single time where I felt like I had to sacrifice a huge artist for another huge artist. Sunday was a little rough with Sasquatch and a bunch of other people, but yeah, it was fucking awesome. The next thing I want to talk about with Electric Forest 2025 is the scavenger hunt. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the scavenger hunt at Electric Forest before, but every year it gets better. Every year they have new puzzles, new themes, and every year they have a cool new secret hideout for everyone who's completed the scavenger hunt. It's really fun. Don't forget to do it because you get a Electric Forest pin, which is very cool, a nice keepsake to take home after the festival. And you can only get it by completing the scavenger hunt that year at Electric Forest or buying it from someone who obviously completed the scavenger hunt. So it's pretty collectible and it's definitely something cool to have. Scavenger hunt is the best of any scavenger hunts at any festival, at any sort of event that I've ever done. I would definitely recommend the scavenger hunt. I understand some people don't want to miss out on sets, but you don't have to. There's no sets that you really miss when you go into the forest at 1 or 2 p.m. So as soon as the forest opens, get in there, complete that scavenger hunt, and get yourself a nice little pin to take home to your collection. If you guys look for the red phone booth in the forest, it's called the Call of Joy. I would definitely recommend taking a few minutes if you see that there's a short line. I wouldn't wait if the line has like 25, 30 people in it, because each person's gonna be in there for about a minute or two. But definitely go in if there's a short line, you won't be disappointed. It's very wholesome, very heartwarming what you'll experience inside the Call of Joy. My next favorite thing that I can think of to talk about from Electric Forest this year was the Dream Emporium. The Dream Emporium was absolutely off the walls. The actors were on their A game this year. I talked to a monster named Yada in the bedroom, where there's like a bed that's really close to the ceiling. And if you go up on the bed, he'll bite your ankles off.
Having a slumber party and story time. If you want, you could climb up on my bed, but you gotta take your shoes off or I'm gonna bite your ankles. Okay.
They kept the wrestling room, so there's a WWE wrestling room, which is so fun to go and see. They still had that this year. They still had the human car wash this year. They still kept the side quest thing where you go on like another scavenger hunt that's in the Dream Emporium. It's not quite as intense as the main scavenger hunt, but it's also a little bit harder because they don't really have stations. You kind of get different puzzles and different questions and different things you have to go and find out throughout the Dream Emporium. I didn't do that part this year, but last year I did it and I got a registered dreamers card. So if you want to be entitled to your own free dreams and you will never be inhibited from producing amazing dreams, then you can become a registered dreamer by completing the side quests in the Dream Emporium. But the Dream Emporium, like I said, was absolutely amazing this year. So many rooms to go explore. The octopus room was definitely an interesting one this year, especially if you knew about the soup du jour. So like I told you guys earlier, I got my wristband for free from someone on Facebook, and what I didn't realize when I got the wristband was that it was a VIP wristband. So I had access to Good Life, I had access to the little areas on the sides of the stages for VIP viewing areas, which was nice. They also had air-conditioned restrooms, but I really didn't utilize them that often. It was only really Saturday and Sunday that I started to take advantage of some of the VIP perks, like the free candy over by the ranch. I'm not talking about this candy, I'm talking about like candy, and it was delicious. I got my fill of Twizzlers and Sour Patch Kids and all that good stuff. So the VIP perks, I don't think I would ever pay for it, but considering I had it for free, I tried to make the most out of them. I didn't stay in the bungalows with the guy who gave me the wristband, but I had access to it, so if I had wanted to go and see that Liquid Stranger set that was in Good Life, I could have. I was pretty wiped and I was already enjoying stuff in the forest, so I didn't really feel the need to go to Good Life to see that Liquid Stranger set. But if there was one regret from this weekend, I wish I caught that Liquid Stranger set. So there's lots of good news, lots of good stuff that came out of Electric Forest this year. I saw synchronized kite flyers, which I had never seen before. Check them out right now.
So sick.
And we also met some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life at Electric Forest 2025. So shout out to all you guys out there, all you fam that I ran into, everybody who's watching the videos, everybody who isn't watching the videos that's at Electric Forest. You guys are awesome too, because I didn't meet a single person all weekend who was spreading bad vibes. So thank you so much for helping to make the forest what it is, because without you guys, the forest is really just a forest. It's the people that are in the forest that make the magic. So thank you for being there and for contributing to such a positive Forest 2025 with me. I can't wait for next year, guys. I think the only bad thing I heard about from pretty much anyone across the board at Electric Forest was the food and the prices. Obviously, it's a festival. You want to try and limit how much money you spend inside the venue and at the vendors, unless you're trying to support the vendors, in which case you want to spend as much money as possible. But the reality is that the food is very overpriced. There was a $100 lobster mac and cheese sandwich, I think. And this lobster mac and cheese sandwich, it came with gold foil in it. So they're trying to make their money. They gotta do what they gotta do. But like I said, you don't have to buy that food. You can bring all your own food in from home and then really not spend a lot. So there's always ways to combat some of the negatives at a festival. One of the only other negatives I also heard about was security. I heard security was kind of crazy on certain things. So I tried to bring in an umbrella when it started to rain. And yeah, if you read the FAQs, it says you can't bring in umbrellas, which I guess it kind of makes sense. You don't want everyone at the set hitting each other with their umbrella. But it was not crowded in the forest. It was raining. I was walking through just pathways where there weren't a lot of people. So I snuck my umbrella in and I used it. But other people had trouble getting in some food items, things like granola bars. People had trouble getting in Narcan. So there were some little things that obviously security was a little bit nitpicky on, but again, it wasn't gonna make or break your festival experience, especially when you got the wristband for free and you had a really good time meeting everybody while you're there.
You gotta come here and experience this wonderful place.
You never know what secrets the forest will. Trust me, it's divine intervention every time.
So again, I just want to say thank you so much for contributing to such an amazing Electric Forest. Without you guys, it wouldn't have been what it was. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Electric Forest 2025. I'm Kenny, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Peace. It's beautiful. Thank you guys. So nice meeting you.
Yes, nice meeting you too.
Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Oh,
Stay
happy
well, stay
forest.
safe.